Well, cool. Thanks for coming down.
Oh, thanks for having me.
That's good stuff. I like that.
Well,
I've always been a big fan of acoustic music.
oh, really? Okay.
Oh yeah, I would.
Except the Eagles, not the Eagles.
Well, yeah. Their acoustics playing's okay. I just don't like. I don't know. Never mind. I mean, I actually do like their Hell Frozen Over thing. Is pretty good. It's a lot better than their actual electric stuff, in my opinion. I like bringing rockers down here and taking their Fenders and their Jacksons and handing them a Taylor. You know.
See what they do with that.
It's been very interesting. There's a lot of really good musicians in this city who will not come here and sit there with an acoustic guitar.
Tough gig.
They won't do it.
Huh.
Because they said, when I'm on stage with the rest of my band, if I miss a chord, no one knows.
Wow,
But you miss
I
a chord
see.
sitting there with an acoustic guitar, and everybody hears it.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that.
I'm voting for that one there.
So,
If you want more quality, you go there. That's what I say.
but I love acoustic stuff, and I see you play a Taylor.
My primary guitar is a Taylor.
Yeah. I was first introduced to Taylor acoustics about 5 years ago from a performer who came down. I'd never seen a Taylor guitar before.
Oh, really? Oh,
And
well,
now, ever since then, everybody, all the good players are playing Taylors. There's a lot of Taylors out there.
Well, I bought that about 3 years ago, and I played a lot of guitars before I bought that one, and I just really liked the sound of it. It has a nice
What's the
warm
other
sound.
one?
The other one is it's a Sigma, which is a
Sure.
company that is owned by Martin. So it has something to do with Martin, although Martin didn't actually make the guitar, but they do sort of supervise and do the distribution for those.
Do you own electric at all?
I do not own an electric. Sometimes I think it would be fun to play around with one, but
You ever think about strapping one on and doing like some
well,
rock and roll?
I could try, but I have a lot of instruments in my house already, and I think my marriage is maybe on the line if I try to bring too many other things in there.
We have a piano.
I got a piano and a cello and these two guitars and a little classical guitar and a fiddle and a hammered dulcimer, and I may be needing to stop there for a while.
A what? A hammer or what?
A hammered dulcimer.
What's
It's
that?
a big zither. It's a trapezoid shape, and it's got a lot of courses of strings that run across a couple
It's
of
like a
bridges.
harp?
And you play it with hammers, with
Oh,
little mallets.
okay.
You've probably seen them
Yeah, no,
at
it's, yeah.
Renaissance fairs. It's actually that's where I saw it for the first time, and I thought it was a lovely instrument, and I've had a fun time playing with it, but it's I haven't mastered it exactly.
So when you do your recordings, well, how many layers, on her CD, how many layers are on that? How many layers did you lay down on that CD?
I don't think there's more than maybe 4 or 5 on
Oh, really?
a lot of the stuff. No.
Wow, because I mean, it's a phenomenal sounding CD.
Well, it got a lot to do with the power of the parts,
Sure.
I mean, being good is, I don't want to get into that, but it's like we have a 4-song demo out, that just guitar and voice.
Oh, okay.
And that's got kind of that same effect to it too.
Well, when you lay it down, do you lay it down a reel-to-reel at all, or is that all gone?
I do. No. I'm 1-inch 24-track analog.
Oh,
tape.
really?
Oh yeah, sure.
That's
I
a
collect
phenomenal job.
reel-to-reels, and I just got a hold of
Oh.
a Tascam 4-channel.
Hey, you'd be surprised. A lot of the hip hoppers come to my place for that sound.
Really?
Oh yeah.
So I'm playing with that right now, just messing around, trying to lay down 4 separate tracks, and
So you're a musician yourself?
No,
No,
not at all.
What are you recording?
music.
Other
CD
people playing or
CDs.
CDs?
I'm stuff from the bands over here.
Oh, okay.
No, I can't play anything. I could play my desk in school. I could play some Indigata Vita.
I saw you playing
Ah,
drums
yeah,
for shoes.
that's
You
good.
know, little Indigata Vita, little Magic Carpet Ride.
Ah, excellent.
Of course.
Eardrums.
Air drums, yeah.
Table drums.
Of course, when I was in school, if you couldn't play Indigata Vita on your desk, man, you were not. You know what I mean?
I hear ya.
Study hall, there's 48 guys going.
Oh yeah.
Excuse me. Now, are you going to do the song I was talking about earlier tonight?
I hadn't planned to do it, but if you really want, I could.
No, well, I mean, is that like a...
Well, you said this is a family show, so, so I don't know how true that is.
So is that a song that when you're cutting his hair, it gives you inspiration to record
Well,
that?
I actually do. Now you've kind of given away the punchline there. I actually do cut my husband's hair, and it was just one day we were making jokes about it and realized that sounded a little dirty, the joke that we made, and then another line, and so it was a song waiting to be written. So it just had to come out.
I like it. It's now I'm driving.
Well-
I threw the CD in. I'm driving on the road. I was saying, whoa.
Yeah, well, when I perform that one, I get kind of mixed response from the audience. A lot of people just look sort of quietly embarrassed and aren't quite sure what to make of it. So
Because of the few opening lyrics?
yeah, and I have to tell people now there is a punchline at the end. Don't take this too seriously. But the people who know me most and think of me as a nice, shy, reserved person, they don't know me very well, I guess. But the people who think of me that way have a little trouble with that song.
How long have you been playing and singing and writing?
Oh, well, I've done music in some form ever since I can remember. It started out with singing choirs and things like that. I studied a lot of piano as a youth and went to college as a music major on piano.
Oh, really? Where?
Well, where didn't I go would be a better question. Several schools in North Carolina, Peace College for a couple of years, UNC Greensboro for a year. Finished at East Carolina University in Greenville, also known as the Big Party Halloween School for anybody who's ever heard of
You don't
that.
sound like a Southerner.
You don't think so?
Not really.
Oh, really? Well, bless you. You're the only one that's ever told me that. Usually people think I'm fresh out of the South.
No,
but
you don't.
I've lived in North Carolina. I lived here for 10 years, but I still, it's hard to shake the Southern.
Well, you probably lost some of it. I mean, my parents moved to Texas 15 years ago. I can't understand what the hell they're saying.
Are you sure that's because they went to Texas?
No, there was no you-alls and stuff when they lived up here, you know.
Oh, well, it's such a useful term. What else are you going to say?
You know, I honestly can't understand them. I go, what are you talking? What are you saying? You know.
Maybe it's the 15 years. You know?
Maybe it is.
Yeah, that communication gap.
Maybe you're right. Maybe my hearing's going bad, you know. But I mean, okay, if you listen, I detect a little bit of Southern. Not a lot, though.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's good. That must be improving then. So I work hard at it sometimes, and sometimes it just makes me talk slower, and so it's hard to know whether when I try to fight it, if it helps.
There's an old joke: Southerners are never on radios as announcers.
Oh, unless they learn to overcome it. It's sort of a handicap.
I mean, even down south, do they have Southerners on the radio stations as
They do, but they all
DJs?
sound sort of neutral Midwestern. The
Well, they do.
broadcasters do.
Okay.
Yeah. But I watched this. I have to confess, I'm a court TV addict. I don't know if you've ever watched court TV.
Judge Wapner?
No. This is actual live, real trial coverage
okay.
of real trials, and
Oh yeah, the station on cable.
yeah, right, yeah.
My wife
and,
watches
and
that.
I love that. And I was watching today, in fact, and while I was doing my treadmill workout, and I was watching court TV, but there's one regular announcer who's on the show. She's a former attorney and is one of the broadcasts for an hour during the day, and she's got a real heavy Southern accent. And I just think it's sweet. It's like, yeah, see, smart people, lawyers, can be Southern. Or Southerners can be smart. So
Well, then
it's not
how
such a bad thing.
from living in South Carolina and being able to go to the ocean every day, whatever, how did you ever land in Madtown?
Well, people ask me that and wonder. A better question is, why are we still here after 10 years? But we came here for my husband to do a postdoc.
Okay.
After he finished his PhD down south, and but truthfully, he convinced me to come by saying, "Oh, it's only for a couple of years," and then so I got out a map and I looked to see where Wisconsin was. I knew it was somewhere in the United States, but I didn't know exactly where, and it looked like it might be pretty cold up here. So I said, "Well, maybe for a couple of years," and so he brought me here, and we just fell in love with Madison. The Madison area just has so much to offer, and so he found a permanent job so we could stay. And in the meantime, I went ahead and resumed my music interest, which I had sort of put on hold while he was in graduate school, and so here I am.
Well, that's cool. Well, you know, when you live in Madison, when you travel, there's nothing like coming back to Madison.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
it's a nice place.
Yeah, it's home. It feels like home.
It does get too cold though.
Well, I don't know. It's not, the cold here isn't any worse than the heat can get down south. So for me, it's just a
I'd
trade-off.
rather have the cold than the heat.
Yeah, I think
Plus, we don't get too many hurricanes up here either.
that's true. You get a lot of tornado sirens,
Yeah.
I've noticed.
Yes.
Never have a tornado, but a lot of sirens.
There's no hurricane sirens?
Well, not that I recall.
Get the hell out of here, it's coming.
You got a few days for that.
Yeah, that's
It's not
true.
like
They have
more
a
than
few
5
days
minutes.
warning
Doesn't
instead of
sneak up on you
seconds
like
and
that.
minutes,
Yeah,
right?
right.
There's a tornado in Missouri. It'll be here in 3 hours. Get out.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So how many CDs have you got out now? Is this your...
Well, let's see. The total discography would be, I have my solo CD, Second Wind, which you were talking about, and I also have a 4-song demo that Randy mentioned that I just put out. Doesn't really have a title except studio demos, and also I'm a contributing artist to a compilation CD that's on the Spiritone record label. the compilation is called Words, and it's a compilation of Wisconsin singer-songwriter material. Sorry? Oh, some of the other artists included on there are Peter Mulvey, Ralston Bowles, Don Conoscenti, Mrs. Fun, Holly Brook, a number of others. It's a real interesting, eclectic mix of stuff. Voltage Units on there.
Bill Camplin on there?
Bill Camplin's on there, who's got a new CD out here. And so a real fun mix of music on that compilation. There's another compilation by that same record label
you
that's
forgot
due
to
out fairly soon, and I've also have a track on that one.
Well, that's cool.
So,
Ken. Ken's
I
on
said
there.
Voltage Unit, yeah. Ken Fox and Voltage Unit, yeah.
Where can people get
So-
your CD?
The easiest thing would be just to go straight to my website, and there's a link from there to CD Freedom where Second Wind is available. The other CDs, the easiest thing to do is send me an email, and I can help folks get a copy of those.
Okay. There's your email right there. Well, that's your
Sure.
website.
On my website, yeah, and there'll be links to the email from there. It's a feedback form on the site as well.
I did get your
So-
name wrong. It's Tracy Jane Comer.
Well, you can throw the Jane in there, yeah, for good measure.
You could,
So,
well, that wouldn't sound right.
what's that?
TJ, no.
TJ. Well, you know, I tried as a youth to get people to call me TJ, and it didn't stick. So.
Really?
Yeah. But Jane is the name of a very special aunt, favorite aunt of mine.
Oh, I see.
Who was very influential in getting my music career started when I was very young, and so sort of a tribute to her as well.
Well, that's cool. I know last night I was listening to WIBA, and at first they have the House of something with Dee Snider.
Oh,
It's
didn't
all
catch it.
hard rock, and then
Oh,
after
okay.
that they have this other show, and it's 2 hours. And last night it was all on Simon and Garfunkel's.
Oh,
What was I can't remember their second album, the one that had
not Bookends.
Bookends.
Was it Bookends?
There was a whole thing. I had no idea that thing was written. Every song was progressing from young to old.
Oh, you know, I didn't
And they were talking to Art Garfunkel, and he was talking about their sound engineer and how they did different things, and it was just very interesting stuff. You
I'm
know,
sorry, I missed that.
I'm always interested in how music is mixed and how it's made. You know, because it's amazing the transformation you can put into it. You know, it's just amazing.
Yeah, it's a real fun. That's a real creative art in itself, just how to put
Oh, it
things
is.
together.
I mean,
and
it-
Randy
there-
knows all about that.
I mean, there's a knack to mixing, to making it sound good. You know?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, the most important thing is to have something good to work with.
Yeah,
You know,
there you
always
go.
helps.
You got to have someone good. First, you got to have someone who can sing and play before you can make it sound good. You're right, you know. So you're right. That's very important. Where's your studio?
It's just off the east side of Madison, just north of Cottage Grove. It's nowhere. It's just out there. It's like
Not in anybody's
Dade
city
County.
limits,
It's not,
anyway.
It's not in any town. It's
Okay.
It's close to Cottage Grove and close to Madison.
Oh, I
right
see.
off the east side. 5 minutes from East Wash.
Because I had forgotten we met at the Q106 pickoff.
Yeah, that was a good time, wasn't
I
it?
loved it. I had a really good time. I hope they ask me to do it again next year.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. That was the most fun I had in a long time.
Well, that I think was the best one I've ever seen, too.
Really?
Yeah, I think it was. 'Cause
I mean, everybody asked me. Denny Dean and the Cadillac Cowboys definitely were the best band there.
by far.
They were on that day. They were very good.
Yeah, it was their day.
I was so happy because I've known Denny Dean for a long time, and he's went through some stuff with his voice and some illness, and they've been hitting on that thing for 10 years, you know. So I was very happy that they won.
Yeah, everybody's always waiting for Denny to make it. You know?
Yeah.
He just looks like he oughta. You know?
Yeah,
He's
and
just got the look.
they
you know?
placed second at the whole day.
Did they?
Yes,
Oh, that's good. I didn't know that.
yes. A lot of people thought they should have won, but they placed second, so that's cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So we had kind of had to throw that in there in the sidebar.
Oh, I'm glad you told me because I was wondering how that changed.
Think about doing any country stuff at all, or?
Well, I like to do what I like, and I'm influenced by a lot of different types of music, and there's some country music in there, and some of my songs might have a bit of that flavor. Growing up, I listened to more pop music. More recently, I've sort of discovered folk, and so there's some of that in there, but more or less, just I like what I like, and I try to write what's inside, and there's even classical influences in there. So it's a variety of stuff, and so I don't try to stick to any one genre. I'm not sure that I would know how to exactly classify my music, there's one record store where my records are, and I think it's kind of interesting that I find mine in the bin right next to the punk rock section, and that's kind of amazing to me. But it doesn't quite fit in the punk, but it's right next to it. But anyway, so there's a lot of singer-songwriters who write music that's a little hard to classify as either country or folk or pop, or it's hard to define.
So, like, thinking back, when you first said, you know what, I want to be a musician, I want to sing, and I want to write songs, was there an inspiration, a performer back then that kind of got you going on that?
Well, from a very young child, one of my biggest musical idols was Elton John. I loved to listen to his music, read all the lyrics, and I loved to read about the collaboration between him and Bernie Taupin, and how they did their songwriting. And so that was one of my earliest influences as a child. And as I grew, or more recently, when I began doing some writing with guitar, I was listening to people like Cheryl Wheeler, Dar Williams, Sean Colvin. So some folks who were a bit in the pop area, maybe some Patty Larkin. I have a number of influences of people who have a little bit of pop, but also are mostly doing the singer-songwriter circuit. And so, I learned a lot of their material on the guitar, and that sort of fostered me or encouraged me to start some of my own writing. And I guess that's where it started.
Sure. Well, I mean, going back, people talk about Woody Guthrie, Arlo Guthrie, right? Acoustic stuff. Bob Dylan, obviously.
Yep.
But I personally think that Simon and Garfunkel brought.
Oh, well, sure. Yeah, I should have mentioned them too as an influence from you.
They brought it right to the forefront of music,
Yep.
I mean,
I listened to a lot of them.
America wouldn't have been as popular as they were if it wasn't for Simon and Garfunkel, I think, starting out. That's my opinion. Because Dylan, that was a different crowd than,
Yeah, there's definitely different things about them. But boy, Simon and Garfunkel, it's hard to beat those as guys as top-notch musicians in every way, in songwriting and performing, and just big influences.
I'd go see them. I wouldn't go see the Eagles, but I'd go see Simon and Garfunkel.
I would. Boy, I'd be there.
Play together, Chicago.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was in Chicago. Yeah.
I guess they're talking. Maybe they're fighting already. I don't know.
Well, I hope so. Jeez,
they have a history of that, I suppose. But it's nice that they could get together long enough to make some music again. That was nice to.
Oh, it is.
Nice
I mean, Art Garfunkel has just a beautiful voice.
Oh yeah, wonderful talent.
His hair's kind of goofy, but.
We'll forgive what he looks like. Just let that sound pour out of his mouth, and everything's fine.
You want to do some more music for us?
I would love to. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Get her up there, and here's some more.